G'day guys, I haven't been able to get on for a while. It's been pretty hectic. It is 7:47 p.m. in Tasmania, Australia. Now I was just watching Brother Patrick's recent video. I found it very interesting, the links that he's possibly noticed to the new wine feast. Now, I know there's been a lot of controversy over this feast, sort of a hidden feast. I know Cool Cat certainly, not that I watch his channel, was not down with that. But as dates have gone past, we obviously need to not look back and look forward. So a lot of people are now looking at new wine as a potentially high event day. Now, I was talking to David the Watchman. I believe he's doing a video soon, which I'm looking forward to. I think he's having a look at Habakkuk and some things that he's found. I won't give any kind of a spoiler out, not that I know much anyway. But I decided after watching Brother Patrick's video just to revisit the verse where Daniel is told to seal up the books for an appointed time. And let's just have a look at that. But you, Daniel, close up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge. This is from my NIV. I'm used to reading King James now. It sort of seems a bit strange to read NIV. So, from that verse, I thought, I wonder what other verses might mention sealing up knowledge or scrolls or books until an appointed time. So I did a pretty simple Bible study and quickly came across, here we go, Habakkuk 2, and let's start at verse 2. Then the Lord replied, write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. So that's a verse we also have heard before, the tarry verse. So I found those two verses, they sort of parallel each other about information being held back until the end times. I then decided to have a look at Habakkuk in the King James, and I thought, I wonder how far away from those words about sealing up knowledge for an appointed time, I wonder how long it'll be until we get a verse about wine. Simply going by Brother Patrick's logic process at the moment, and look at that. So Habakkuk 2:2 was a verse that sort of moves into Habakkuk 2:3, which sounds very much like Daniel, and we're talking about the end times and appointed time. And we only have to go to Habakkuk 2:5 before we get mention of wine. Is this wine, this new wine, this theory that I think basically Dr. Barry came up with it? I mean, I can't be certain because I don't, timeline who comes up with what, when and where and how, but I think it was Dr. Barry that sort of came up with it. And as we get closer and closer, I find quite a lot of verses now with a mention of wine that point to end times. This could be one of those cases. So this may well be supportive of what Brother Patrick is his last video from about 7 hours ago was talking about. I'm not sure, but it certainly is the tarry verse. It is certainly talking about the end times. And there is the mention of wine there in regard to sort of transgression and so on. It could almost imply that, the new wine feast happens and then the wrath occurs immediately afterwards, potentially typology of a rapture. Total speculation, but it is something that may be supportive of Brother Patrick, because he didn't mention Habakkuk in his recent video, or the one from 7 hours ago. And I find that could be an interesting link there also. So, guys, I'm going to finish by saying I still think we are very, very close, of course. I know I've been saying that for 3.5 years now, but the Lord has led us on this stepping stone journey, and that has not been of my design. We are definitely closer than ever before. All the signs that we're supposed to see, all the birth pangs are there. We are literally ready to depart, and seeing what has happened in Israel today, it could be tonight, really. It could be so close. So there is only one way that anybody can escape all of this that is about to come, and it is coming, like it or not. Your disbelief will not change what is about to happen. Jesus lived a perfect life. He was sinless. He is the only person to ever live a perfect, sinless life. And the requirements to get into heaven are to have lived a perfect, sinless life. Jesus is God. He put on flesh and dwelt amongst us. He lived that perfect, sinless life simply so that when we, with faith, through the grace of our Lord Jesus, confess with our mouth that he is Lord, and we truly believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead on the third day, then we are saved. Remember, he paid a price that we just can't pay. You have to be perfect to get into heaven. And Jesus was the only one that was perfect. He's the only person that made it. Yet, he promises us through the scriptures that if we believe what I just said then we can share in his entry to heaven. His righteousness will be accredited to us even though we don't deserve it. Simply through faith, belief, and the grace that we have now in this dispensation of grace, which is about to end, as God turns his attention back to Israel for 7 years. So, guys, Jesus is the only salvation. You simply need to confess with your mouth that he is Lord, he is God, he was sinless, and he did do everything that he said he did. And he will keep every promise that he said he will keep. And you believe in your heart that he lived that perfect life, was sacrificed to pay a debt of ours, not his, rose from death on the third day, and is seated now at the right hand of our Father in heaven. God bless, guys. Time is short. Don't mess this up.